Our life together was a tapestry woven with threads of laughter, shared dreams, and a quiet understanding that only years of deep connection can forge. Ben was my anchor, my confidant, my everything. We had built a world for ourselves, brick by carefully laid brick, a sanctuary of comfort and unwavering affection. I remember the early days of our relationship, every touch, every stolen glance, every whispered promise felt like a sacred pact. We would spend hours simply existing in each other's presence content, in the knowledge that we had found something truly special, something that would withstand the test of time and all of life's inevitable storms. Our future stretched before us, like an open road, clear and bright, filled with the promise of endless possibilities and a shared journey. We talked about children, about a little house with a garden, about growing old together, rocking on a porch, watching the sunset. These were not just idle fantasies, they were the blueprints of our shared existence, etched into the very fabric of our souls. Then slowly, imperceptibly at first, the threads of our tapestry began to fray. It started subtly, a shift in his routine, a new phone etiquette, a sudden busyness that felt manufactured. He would stay late at work more often than usual, citing pressing projects or unexpected deadlines. His phone, once openly displayed on the coffee table or kitchen counter, now became a closely guarded secret, always face down, always within reach, always quickly put away when I entered the room. I noticed the little things, the new cologne, a scent I did not recognize, the slightly disheveled appearance upon returning home, sometimes a faint floral aroma clinging to his clothes that was not mine. My mind tried to rationalize it all away. He was working hard. He was stressed. He was just being more private these days. We all need our space, I told myself, silencing the nagging voice of unease that had begun to whisper in the quiet corners of my mind. But the whispers grew louder, transforming into a relentless drumming that echoed in my head day and night. The emotional distance between us became a chasm. Our easy conversations turned into strained exchanges. Our passionate intimacy dwindled, replaced by hurried gestures or tired excuses. He became withdrawn, guarded, defensive. If I asked about his day, he would give vague answers or change the subject. If I questioned his late nights, he would accuse me of being jealous or suffocating. His eyes, once warm and full of adoration, now seemed to hold a flicker of something else, something I could not quite decipher. A mix of guilt and impatience, perhaps. I felt like I was walking on eggshells, constantly afraid of saying the wrong thing, of pushing him too far, of making him pull away even more. The beautiful sanctuary we had built together began to feel like a prison, a gilded cage where I was trapped with my mounting suspicions and a growing sense of dread. I fought with myself every single day. My heart desperately wanted to believe in him, in us, in the love we had shared. My mind, however, was becoming a battleground of conflicting emotions and damning observations. I scrutinized his every word, his every action, searching for proof of my fears or reassurance that they were unfounded. I checked his phone when he was asleep, a violation I hated myself for, but felt compelled to commit. I found nothing concrete, only deleted messages and a strange lack of incoming calls during certain hours. My paranoia reached a fever pitch. I became a detective in my own home, analyzing receipts, noting unusual mileage on his car, wondering why he suddenly needed to buy new clothes when his wardrobe was perfectly fine. I lost weight. I lost sleep. I lost my sense of self. I was a shadow of the woman I used to be, consumed by the uncertainty and the gnawing suspicion that my entire world was about to shatter. The truth arrived not with a bang, but with a sickening thud. It was a Tuesday, a day that will forever be seared into my memory with an agonizing clarity. He had left his laptop open on the kitchen counter while he quickly ran to the grocery store, promising to be back in 20 minutes. A notification flashed across the screen, an email from an unfamiliar name. Sarah. Curiosity, or perhaps a morbid craving for certainty, compelled me to click. The words on the screen were a punch to the gut, a betrayal so profound it stole the air from my lungs. Sweetheart, I miss you already. Can't wait for our next secret rendezvous. Kisses. It was accompanied by a blurry photo of them together in what looked like a hotel room. His arm around her, his smile wide and genuine, a smile I hadn't seen directed at me in months. The world tilted on its axis. The kitchen floor spun beneath my feet. The colors drained from the room, leaving everything in a stark, unforgiving monochrome. The noise of the street outside faded into a distant hum, replaced by the deafening roar of my own shattered heart. He walked back in through the door, humming a tune, carrying a bag of groceries, oblivious to the nuclear explosion that had just ripped through our lives. He saw me standing there, frozen, my face undoubtedly a mask of shock and pain and absolute devastation. His eyes followed my gaze to the laptop screen, and the color drained from his face as well. The silence that followed was the heaviest I have ever known, thick with unspoken accusations and the raw agony of 1,000 broken promises. The confrontation that ensued was not a conversation, but an unraveling. I screamed, I cried, I pleaded, I demanded answers. He stammered, he denied, he apologized, he begged for forgiveness. His words were empty, hollow echoes against the backdrop of the irrefutable evidence. The truth was a bludgeon that tore through the carefully constructed facade of our life together, leaving behind only rubble and dust. The love I thought was indestructible, fractured into a million irreparable pieces. The trust I had placed in him implicitly evaporated like mist in the morning sun. The days and weeks that followed were a blur of tears, anger, and a profound sense of loss that felt physical in its intensity. Our home, once a haven, now felt like a mausoleum, haunted by the ghost of what we once were. Every corner held a memory, every object a painful reminder of a life that had been a lie. I packed his things slowly, methodically, each item a weight in my hands, a symbol of his deceit. The process was agonizing, a ritual of severing ties, a forced amputation of a limb that was still technically alive, but poisoned beyond repair. I grieved not just for the end of our relationship, but for the death of a future I had so vividly imagined. I grieved for the innocence I had lost, the belief that true love was impervious to such cruelty. My friends rallied around me, their comforting words a balm on an open wound, but the pain was too deep, too raw to be truly soothed. I felt isolated despite their presence, trapped in a swirling vortex of betrayal and sorrow. Moving on was not an active choice, it was a slow, agonizing climb out of a very deep well. I learned to breathe again, to eat again, to sleep again, but the scars remained deep and indelible. Every new relationship, every potential flicker of affection, was met with a wall of skepticism, a fear of vulnerability that felt insurmountable. I questioned everything and everyone. Was I naive? Was I blind? How could I have not seen the signs more clearly? The experience had fundamentally altered my perception of love and trust. It taught me that even the strongest foundations can crumble, that promises can be broken with devastating ease, that the person you believe knows you best can also inflict the deepest wound. It took years to truly understand that his actions were a reflection of his own failings, not a measure of my worth. It took even longer to forgive him, not for his sake, but for my own, to release the bitter venom that had poisoned my own heart. Sometimes I still wonder about Sarah, about what she knew, about what she felt. I wonder if she ever considered the collateral damage of their secret affair, the utter destruction it wreaked on an unsuspecting life. But mostly I try not to. I try to focus on the lessons learned, on the strength I found in myself that I never knew I possessed. The journey through infidelity is a lonely and often devastating one, but it is also a journey of profound self-discovery. It forces you to confront your deepest fears, to rebuild your sense of self, and to redefine what love truly means to you. It taught me the importance of self-worth, of setting boundaries, of truly listening to that quiet voice of unease that tries to warn you when things are not right. The tapestry of my life is now woven with new threads, different colors, perhaps not as bright as the ones I once envisioned, but stronger, more resilient, tempered by the fires of betrayal, and ultimately reborn with a deeper understanding of love's complexities and its fragile beauty. The scars are a reminder, not of pain, but of survival, of a woman who was broken, but ultimately found her way back to herself, stronger and wiser than before.